Imagine waking up on a completely normal day. You open the window like you always do, but something feels wrong. The sky is dark. No Sunday. No light. No warmth. In that moment, no one on Earth would immediately understand what happened, because the strange truth is that if the sun suddenly disappeared, Earth wouldn't notice right away. About 8 full minutes would pass before anyone sensed anything unusual, because sunlight takes around 8 minutes to travel from the sun to Earth. During those minutes, everything would feel perfectly normal. People would be going to work, cars would be moving, birds would be flying, as if the sun were still there, even though it had completely vanished. Once those 8 minutes pass, the light suddenly disappears. Not like a sunset, and not like an eclipse, but total and terrifying darkness. The sky turns black in the middle of the day. Stars appear at noon. The moon vanishes too, because it only reflects sunlight. That is when real panic begins. People rush outside, governments declare global emergencies, and scientists immediately understand that what just happened means the beginning of the end of life on Earth. In the first hours after the sun disappears, temperatures begin to drop, but not instantly like in movies. Earth still holds some of the heat it absorbed before, but without a constant source of energy. That heat escapes quickly. Within the first 24 hours, the average temperature on Earth could fall to around -17 degrees Celsius. Cities begin to freeze, water inside pipes turns to ice, and power grids start to fail under the extreme cold. The greatest blow to life comes to plants. Plants depend on sunlight for photosynthesis, and without it, they begin to die within days. As plants disappear, the entire food chain collapses. Herbivores die because there is nothing left to eat, followed by carnivores that lose their prey. Humans initially try to survive using stored food, canned supplies, nuclear power, and artificial heating, but these are only temporary solutions. After just a few days, the oceans begin to freeze at the surface. Not all at once, but thick layers of ice slowly cover the seas. These ice layers can trap some heat below and keep deeper waters liquid for a short time, but eventually the cold wins. Even Earth's atmosphere begins to change. The sun doesn't only provide light and warmth, it also helps maintain the stability of the atmosphere. Without it, gases begin to freeze and fall to the surface as strange snow made of nitrogen and oxygen. One of the most dangerous consequences is that Earth would leave its orbit. The sun's gravity is what keeps Earth moving in its path. Once the sun disappears, Earth becomes a wandering planet, traveling in a straight line through the dark emptiness of space at a speed of about 30 kilometers per second. A frozen, silent world drifting with no destination and no future. After several months, the average temperature on Earth could drop below -100 degrees Celsius. There would be no place on the surface capable of supporting life. Humans who tried to hide underground or near nuclear reactors might survive a little longer, but resources would eventually run out. Conflicts would begin, societies would collapse, and human civilization would come to a complete end. The most important question remains: would life disappear entirely? Scientists believe that certain microscopic life forms could survive for some time. These organisms live deep in the oceans near hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, where heat rises from Earth's interior. They do not depend on sunlight, but instead rely on thermal and chemical energy. However, this would be extremely primitive life, not a civilization, and not a living planet as we know it. The disappearance of the sun would not simply mean losing light. It would mean losing the entire system. Time itself would feel different, because the cycle of day and night would be gone. Seasons would no longer exist. All that would remain is permanent cold and endless darkness. Earth would transform from a vibrant, living world into a silent, frozen sphere drifting through cosmic emptiness. The terrifying truth is that the sun is not special in the universe. It is an ordinary star among billions of others. But for us, it is everything. Its presence is the difference between life and death, between order and chaos, between a living planet and a lifeless rock in space. So the next time you look up at the sky and see the sun shining, remember that your entire existence is tied to that star. If it were to disappear suddenly and without warning, the universe would not care. But for us, it would mean the end of everything. The end of Earth, the end of humanity, and the end of a story that began billions of years ago, fading into eternal darkness.